Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey, and today these are the 6 pairs of earrings that I will be making. And most of the components came from Sam's bead box for the month of April 2023. And the theme for this month was Wonderland, as in Alice in Wonderland. This video will be a little bit longer than my typical video. As you can see, these earrings are quite a bit more involved. And with that Alice in Wonderland theme, I just wanted to go big and dramatic. I wanted to take the theme and run with it, and I absolutely love it. So I really hope you enjoy it. If you would like to see how these earrings came about, then stay tuned. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the tools that I will be using. I have 2 sets of chain nose pliers, 1 set of round nose pliers, and 1 set of cutters. And I want to briefly mention my tool set. It is the Casual Comfort tool set. And as the name suggests, these tools are so comfortable to use. They are high quality and very well made. And one of the biggest things for me is that they have adult size grips. A lot of times, for whatever reason, jewelry making tools will be a little bit smaller, and these certainly function. But I know as soon as I found these tools, I really just can't imagine using anything else. So I will have these tools linked in the description box below, along with everything else I use in the video that did not come from the bead box. And I will also link below the opening video that I did for Sam's bead box, and it will have a detailed description of all of the beads that I use that came from the bead box. From my own stash, I'm going to be using this 4mm pearl and this 6mm pearl. I am also going to be using this 4-leaf bead cap and an ear wire and some pins. Now, this first pair of earrings is going to be the only pair that I have using gold metal. So for each pair, I will have one that is already completed and we will make one together. So here is the first pair. So we're going to start by making the components, and then we'll connect it. So I have this ball end pin. I'm going to put on the 6mm pearl and this flower shaped bead. And on top, I have the 4mm pearl and the small 2mm that came in the bead box. And here is how I make a loop. I'm gonna go in with my round nose pliers just above that top bead, bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and I'm going to go in with my round nose pliers and close that loop, just like that. So there's the bottom component, and now we're gonna make that middle. So now I have an eye pin. I put on the small black bead, bead cap facing up, round melon bead, bead cap facing down, and then small bead just like this. And now when I make a loop with an eye pin, I wanna make sure the loops are facing the same direction. So I'm gonna place it on my finger just like this. Go in with my round nose pliers, same way, just above that top bead. I'm gonna make sure the loops are facing the same way. Bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters. And before I close this loop, I'm going to attach it to the bottom component, just like that. And then I'm going to close that loop, just like that. And now I'm going to add the ear wire, open it just a smidge, attach it to the top, then close it. Here is the first pair, on to the next one. And here is the second pair. So we're gonna make the center component and connect it. I have an eye pin, and here is the order with that leaf bead in the center, 2 of the 4mm pearls. All right, and I wanna line up to make the loops go in the same direction and go above with my round nose pliers. Make sure everything is lined up. And I want to bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters. And before I close this loop, I'm going to connect it to this leaf charm on the end. And this leaf charm is from my own stash. And then I'm going to go in with my round nose pliers and close that loop, just like that. And now on the top of that eye pin, I'm going to open it just a smidge, connect it to the charm just like this, and close it back. There we go. And now we're going to connect it to the ear wire. Open it just a little, connect it, and close it. And here is the second pair. On to the next one. And here is the next one that we are making. And for this, I'm using one of the chandelier components from my own stash. Very much a flower-esque pattern. So we are going to be making the components and then attaching them together. I have an eye pin, and then I'm using 3 of these faceted Hishi beads. And I want to make sure that, once again, the loops are lined up. I go just above, just like that. Bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and I'm going to connect it to the chandelier. There's 5 loops across the bottom here, and I'm going to connect it to the outside one. Just like that. And then close that loop, just like that. All right, so now I'm going to make this exact same component and put one on the middle and put one on the other end, and then we'll meet back up. All right, here we go. Now we're gonna make the 2 other components for that first row. So we have a simple back and forth between the 3mm pearl that came in the bead box and the spacer bead. All right, so I went just above that top bead, bent it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters. All right, now I'm gonna go into that second one, take my round nose pliers and close that loop. All right, just like that, and we're gonna make that same component for this one. All right, there we go. There's that first row off the chandelier. Now we're gonna work on the second row. All right, so here is the simple pattern. I'm using the tulip mix that came in the box with a flathead pin. And as you can see on the one that's already made, I have red on the outside of the tulips and a white one in the middle. And I am purposely doing the opposite on the one I'm making now. So I'm gonna have 2 white on the outside and the red one in the middle. So I'm gonna make a loop, go in with my round nose pliers just above that top bead, bend it, bend back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and I'm gonna connect it to that outside one, just like that. And then go in with my round nose pliers and close the loop, just like that. So now I'm going to make this exact same component and put it on the opposite side. All right, there it is. Now we're gonna make that center component. And for this, I'm gonna use a ball end pin. So here is that center component, and I did add an extra to make it a little bit longer. So it's the black bead, then spacer, then black bead with that tulip and a black bead. Make a loop, I'm gonna bend it back, bend it around with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and then connect it to that center one and close the loop. There we go. And then the last components, I have another ball end pin, and I'm using the other bead mix that came in the bead box, and I purposefully selected 2 that just have the colors black and white on them. Then I'm gonna make a loop, bend back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and connect it to one of the thin strands there. And then with my round nose pliers, I'm gonna close that loop. All right, and I'm gonna make that same component for the 4th one there. All right, there we go. So now we're gonna very quickly attach the ear wire, open it just a little. You wanna make sure that it's facing the correct way. And then close it back. All right, here is the 3rd pair. On to the next one. All right, so here is the next one. So we're gonna make each one of the components, and the chandelier came from my own stash. So I'm gonna start with an eye pin. So I have 1 6mm glass bead that came in that mix, and then 4 of the smaller black beads. I wanna line up the loop in that eye pin and make sure my loops are facing the same direction. Go right above with my round nose pliers. Bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and then I'm gonna put this one with the eye pin in the center one, and then go in there with my round nose pliers and close the loop, just like that. So now I'm going to make this same component for the other 4, except I'm going to use a ball end pin. But it's the exact same component for the other 4 loops in the chandelier, and then we'll meet up. All right, so there they are. And now we're gonna add the 1 charm to the center. And these mushroom charms came in the box. I think they're so cute. So this center one that has the eye pin, just gonna open it a smidge, put on the charm, and close it right back, just like that. And now we're gonna very quickly put on the ear wire, and we wanna make sure it's facing the correct way, just like that. And now close it back. Here is the 4th pair. On to the next one. All right, so here is the next pair. And the chandelier for this one, also from my own stash, and the flower bead caps. So we're going to make the top row of components and then the bottom row. We have an eye pin. All right, so here is the pattern. We have 4 of those Hishi beads in the center with the round black bead on the outsides. So I'm gonna line up the loop, go in with my round nose pliers, bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and connect it to the outside loop. With my round nose pliers, close that loop, just like that. And I'm gonna do the same thing to the opposite side. All right, just like that. And now we're gonna make that center one. Another eye pin. For this one, I have the 2 of the same small round black beads and then this beautiful rose bead that came in the box. And I'm going to line up my loops, bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and then connect it to that center one. Then go in there with my round nose pliers and close that loop, just like that. Now the bottom row are all the same component, so I'll show you how to make one. Take a ball pin, bead cap facing up, clear bead with the gold wash, bead cap facing down, and then another black round bead. So here is that component. And since it has a ball end, it doesn't matter which direction the loop is facing. Go bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and I'll connect it to the one on the end and close the loop. Just like that. And we'll make that same component for the other 2. All right, there we go. Now we'll very quickly add the ear wire. Connect it there, make sure it's facing the correct direction, and close it back. So here is the 5th pair. On to the last one. All right, so here is the last pair. So once again, the chandelier component came from my own stash. So we will make the top row first. And I have an eye pin. So here is what that component looks like. And for this one, in that 6mm round mix, I purposefully picked 3 that had a mixture of all 3 colors in it. And then of course it's surrounded by the black round beads and then the larger 6mm bicones. So I'm gonna line it up, go in with my round nose pliers just above that top bead, bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and I'm going to connect it to the outside one right there. Go in with my round nose pliers and curl it closed. Close that loop, just like that. And I'm gonna do that 2 more times. All right, here we go. And now we're gonna do the second row. So I have a ball end pin. I'm using the drop melon beads that came in the box. Just like that. And I'm gonna go in just above with my round nose pliers, bend it back with my fingers, and go in with my cutters. I'm going to attach it to that first one. And with my round nose pliers, I'm going to curl it closed, just like that. And now I'm gonna do the same thing to the other 2. All right, there we go. And now we are going to quickly add the ear wire. Open it at the top, attach it, make sure it's facing the right direction, and close it. And here is the last pair. And now I'm going to set all of them up on my display so that we can see them better. All right, so here they are, and I absolutely love them. They look so good just kind of sitting here all together. I love how dramatic they are, and I just really think that Alice in Wonderland theme was just awesome. And I think it called for some earrings that were a little bit more dramatic, a little over the top. And I think these look amazing. So let's get on in there. So of course we have the one and only gold pair, but I think those melon type beads kind of called for it with that black and gold. Then we have the 3-tiered pair right there. Very, very nice. I love those leaf beads. And then of course the leaf charms off the end. The rest of them are kind of a fringe, all with chandelier components. And I love that red, black, and white. I think they look so good. I like the melon beads on the end of that one there too. And then of course that tulip mix. And I love the purposeful opposite colors of the tulips. I think it kind of goes with that crazy Alice in Wonderland theme. And then of course those rose beads. I love that weathered look. And then the last one with those mushrooms. I think those look so nice as well. Once again, here are the 6 pairs. I absolutely love them. And if you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. I would love to hear your opinion of these earrings, and I love reading my comments. You guys are so, so kind, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.